Yes, perfect. I think before you introduce yourself, just a quick introduction from my side. I'm Matthias. I'm the founder of PR Lab, and we are here to, yeah, have a nice, interesting session about SEO and how to, bootstrap your SEO efforts. PR Lab is an integrated PR agency. We're based in Amsterdam, Munich, Stockholm, and Austin, Texas. And we help our clients not only with PR, but also with SEO and content creation to boost their visibility and achieve their growth ambitions. All right, Hannah, off to you.
Perfect. So I will introduce myself. My name is Genaro Palma. I am a SEO consultant specialized in technical SEO, and I also build a WordPress solution for companies that want to increase their visibility. I have 8 years of experience in the field, and I have worked with different clients from startups and local business to mid-sized companies like agencies or real estate firms. I managed websites up to 650,000 organic traffic, and I am working in PR Lab with Matthias since February 2020. So to start, I'm going to make a short introduction of SEO. So what is SEO? We could define SEO as the practice of optimizing a website's content and structure, as well as external factors, to improve its visibility and ranking in search engine result page. So what does it mean? Basically, what we try to say is that in SEO, what we do is we optimize a website, so the content, the layout, the performance, or the website, as well as external factors, backlinking, to improve the rankings in search engine like Google or Bing or Yelp in order to increase traffic. So the way it works is, first of all, we optimize the website and the external factors. This is step one. If we do this properly, that will increase our position in the rankings. It will improve our positions in the rankings. When we improve the positions, we are going to grow the organic traffic. And as we have more organic traffic, we will increase the revenue. So for example, in the case of an agency, as we have more organic traffic, we will have more leads. If we are selling a product, we would sell more products. So this is the goal of SEO, is sell more and increase the revenue. So the question then is, how do we rank higher in the search results? So for this, we will need to know how does Google chooses the order. How do Google choose the order of pages for a specific query? And the truth is, like, we don't know exactly because, of course, Google algorithm is a little bit like Coca-Cola secret recipe, so they are not going to tell us. But of course, we do know many things about it. And what many SEO authorities say is that there's between 100 and 200 ranking factors, which makes it, of course, quite complicated because it's many factors to manage. And we don't know exactly in which percentage they in the rankings. So what I did to more or less make it easy is I separate these factors in 3 groups. One group is what we call the on-page factors. The other are the technical factors, and the other are off-page. So basically what you don't have the hand of because they are out of your website. So the on-page factor is what, let's say, is the easiest to manage because it's something you don't need to have big technical knowledge. It's something that is on your page, so you can just change some text or add some links, and you will have it. So in the on-page factors, I mentioned the titles, the quality of the content and the content that you write, the internal links, so the different links that are in your page pointing to different pages, the meta descriptions, the heading, the alternative text of the images, the semantic SEO, so different factors on how you write the content and the kind of words and keywords that you use, the schema markup or the structured data, and the web structure. So I put web structure in bold because it's one of the main topics of the webinar today, and it's also one of the main topics of ranking. Then there is a technical side that is still in your page, so you still have the hand on, but it's more technical, it's more advanced, and some of the subjects are indexing, security or HTTPS certificate and protocol, then the loading speed and the core web vitals, and the mobile friendliness. And of page, of course, the main factor in the of page is backlinks, but we also add social media and the anchor text that we choose for the backlinks. So Mati, let me know if you have any doubt, because I cannot see if...
I just asked in the Q&A feature who has a question. So I think some questions will pop up, but for now it's still very clear.
Perfect. So I'm going to explain why are we focusing so much on the web structure. So the first reason for me is we do a lot of audits per year, and web structure is always the main problem in most of our clients. And the thing is, it's very complicated to optimize for SEO if you don't have a web structure. Why? Because in the web structure, what we decide is which keywords we want to rank for with each page. If we do not have this task done in our site, then it's very hard to optimize, because we don't know what are we optimizing for. And if we do it wrong, then it will be complicated to do it, and we will lose a lot of power from the other factors. I had a client, a lead that 2 months ago asked me, I'm doing backlinking, but my SEO is still the same. But he didn't do anything on SEO page. So backlinking, for example, is going to help you if you did very well your on-page SEO. But if you don't have a structure, if you only have your homepage, then backlinking is not going to be so helpful for you. So the best way to explain what is a web structure for me is to give examples. So we're going to take our own website, we're going to take PeerLab, and then I'm going to show one example for regular e-commerce and from regular local business. In my case, I took a dental clinic, for example. So in PeerLab, when I arrived in 2020, we had the homepage, we had About Us, and we had only one page for all the services. So in that moment was PR, I think thought leadership, and industry report. So was one paragraph about each service in one page. What we did, the very first thing we did was to work on the structure. So in the homepage, we decided to target keywords such international PR agency, global PR agency, global PR firm. And what we did with the service page that was all together, we create different service page for each of the services that we provide. For example, now we have Tech PR. So in the Tech PR page, we target Tech PR agency, Tech PR firm, Tech public relations services. We have the same for media training. So we target media training, peer training, media training services, or public relations training, or peer course as well. And then like this, we have 6 or 7 services. Then we realized also that there were queries for sectors. So some people were looking for example, fintech PR agency, fintech public relations, or SaaS PR, SaaS PR agency, cybersecurity. Like this, we have like 20 or 30 sectors. So that's another improvement that comes through working on our web structure. Because if we would not know that we need to create pages for these queries, no matter how many other things we would make, no matter if our website would be super fast to load, if we would have a lot of backlinks, we would never be able to rank for these pages.
And Hannah, maybe you can explain how is that you realized that there was a lot of intention for, or there was a lot of queries about these type of things, like which tool do you use for that, or how do you go about it?
Yes, so in the next slide, I'm going to explain exactly how we create one structure.
Great.
Then we have the same for the locations. So we have 4 offices, and basically for Amsterdam, for example, we target Amsterdam PR agency, Amsterdam PR company, and we do the same for the rest. Then we have the blog. In the blog, basically we have many articles, and they target different keywords, but we know before we write the articles what do we target. This is very important. Many companies, they just write, let's say, random content for SEO, but if you do not do the task of preparing what do you want to rank for, then it's going to be a lot of effort that a little bit you're going to put in the trash in some way. And then, of course, and I put in gray, we have many pages that they are not optimized for SEO, and that's still okay. The About Us page, the contact, the case studies, they are not made for SEO, they are made for users, and that's good and it's useful and it can help conversion, but we don't target specific keywords with them. This is just to show a little bit how much we grow in PLab. So I started working in PLab in February 2020, and we went more or less from 200 users per month to 15,000 we are now. We went to 20,000 one very good month, but more or less, this is the growth that we have. This is what we can see in the first graph. And in the second graph, we can see the number of keywords that we're ranking for. So now we're ranking in the top 100 of Google more or less for 8,000 keywords. So we can see the correlation between the last graph ranking in different keywords and the organic traffic that is the first graph. So just two quick examples. For e-commerce, usually you have collections. Let's say that we will have an e-commerce about home furniture shop. And then we have different collections like kitchen, bathroom, garden, and different products that will be also optimized on the blog. And then will be other pages that we don't pay so much attention for SEO, like shopping, contact, about, or checkout. For local business, maybe just to show an easier example, let's see a dental clinic. A dental clinic would just have the homepage and another page with all the dental services together, but this would not be very good for SEO, let's say. The best thing, it will be they have their homepage when they target the main keywords. So, for example, I don't know, if the dental clinic could be New York, it would be dental clinic New York, dentist New York. So they are targeting that keyword with those keywords with the homepage. But then, as well as we did in PLab, the dental services, there will be many different pages for all the dental services targeting different keywords. This is the main goal of the structure, is to know what we are targeting and be able to create those pages optimized for SEO, and then we're going to rank. So, and then it will have a blog. So now I'm going to show how to make an SEO optimized web structure. Matti, is something that you want to ask?
No, I think it's very clear. I think it was nice that you show different examples of different structures. But yeah, I think a lot of people might be wondering now how to make an optimized web structure.
Sure. So how we do it? It's a long task, to be honest. It's like usually takes 20, 30 hours to make a nice job and make a nice optimized structure. So the step-by-step basically is like this. First of all, we make a competitor analysis. Then we make keyword research. Then we make something that is called keyword mapping that I'm going to explain. And finally, we do the on-page optimization. So the competitor analysis. The first step is to identify your competitors. So how you do this? This is very easy because you can just target the keyword that you want on Google. So you can, if you are a dental, again, take the same example, if you are a dental clinic in New York, you're going to put dental clinic in New York in Google, and you're going to see who is ranking there. Something important is like, many times people think your competitors for SEO, they are not really your real industry competitors, but is the companies that they are ranking in the keywords you want to rank for. So the first task is to identify them. Then you can just take a paper and go to their website and start taking a look to see what they are doing. So if you would be a dental clinic, you will start seeing which kind of services they are proposing, which kind of treatments, and note that for yourself, because you know that you might want to create the same ones for your website. So this is the first two options, let's say they are easy to do and you don't need tools. But if you really want to go extra mile, the best is to use two paying tools. So one is Ahrefs and the second one is SEMrush. I prefer to use SEMrush, but basically what they do is they let you see how does the pages make to bring organic traffic. So they're going to see which pages are bringing organic traffic for your competitors. And that's very good, of course, for example, in the case of blogs, because you can know how your competitor bring traffic to your website, and you can write exactly about the same topic. The second step is keyword research. So basically, after using your competitive analysis, you will have some ideas already because you saw what it worked for the rest. So you're going to note those ideas in an Excel or in a paper, how you want, and then you are going also to have your own ideas. For example, in Peer Lab, we know that we offer peer services, that we offer media training, so we already have those ideas. You make your list, and then you will go to a keyword research tool. So in my case, I like to use Google Keyword Planner, but you can also use Ubersuggest, and there are many tools that do this task. And basically, what we're going to see in the tools is how many visits per month you get in Google. So, for example, the dental clinic in New York, they're going to put dental clinic in New York, and they're going to see that there is 1,500 queries per month in Google. And the other thing that you can do with this is that you will start having many synonyms. Maybe people are looking for dental clinic in New York. Maybe some are looking for professional dental clinic New York. Maybe some for cheap. Others maybe for dentist New York. And basically, the step 3 is that you're going to organize those keywords. You will have an Excel with maybe 1,000 words, like that, and you're going to organize. You're going to start thinking which page is going to rank for which keyword. So if you have 20 keywords about orthodontics, then you will put them all together. If you have some keywords about teeth whitening, you're going to put them all together. And you're going to start having lists for each specific page. And this is going to help you on this third step, that is what we call keyword mapping. Keyword mapping is basically the process of deciding which pages you're going to create and which keywords you will target in these pages. So for example, in PLA, we have a lot of Excel documents, and basically we know which keyword we're targeting with each page. Why we need to know this? Because then we're going to go to the page, we're going to add the keywords on the page, we're going to optimize the title, all the optimization, the on-page optimization of SEO, we are going to do it with those keywords. If we wouldn't have those keywords, then we would not be able to know what are we optimizing for. That's the problem that many companies have. You can make an audit, but how are you going to optimize if you don't know your structure, if you don't know what are you optimizing for? So
right. So a lot of companies then don't have, let's say they don't have like a website structure from the get-go. So they're kind of like shooting in the dark, just trying to own any sort of keyword, but they don't belong to any structure. We have a question. What is the difference between keyword mapping and organizing the keywords?
It's more or less the same. Let's say that in the very beginning, you should organize your keyword, what you have. And then keyword mapping is when you start like really thinking, okay, how I'm going to create my web structure. And then you're just going to take those keywords that you have and try to make them fit in what you want to do. So for example, let's go to a dental clinic. When you will start making keyword, when you will put everything in Google Keyword Planner, you will have ideas, suggestions, and then you will have a huge list. From the list, that keywords that they give you, maybe some keywords you are not going to use, or you say you are maybe going to target the blog later. And in the keyword mapping, basically you're going to decide what you're going to create and how you're going to make your structure. So that's basically keyword mapping, and is one of the things that I think everyone has to do when you start building your website. Do keyword mapping before any other thing you do. Just know how you're going to create it.
Perfect. Cool. So a thumbs up. Great. Let's carry on then.
Let's go with the
on-page optimization.
Perfect. So let's say that we did the show. We spent 20, 30 hours doing the keyword mapping. We did the web structure. So now we created the pages. Now we are going to do what we call the on-page optimization. And this is something that we see a lot in the outputs. But without the keyword mapping, we would not do this because we wouldn't know what we optimize for. But now that we already finished with our keyword mapping, we have everything, then we can move forward. So the first thing you want to do is you want to optimize your title. Your title is a ranking factor. So it means that if you have a page about teeth whitening and you put in the title of your page teeth whitening New York, then Google is going to like, and it's going to give you like extra points for that, and you're going to rank higher than before. Yes, this is something very easy, and it's very effective. So here I noted a few tips about it. So the first is use primary and secondary keywords. In some cases, you will be able to put both. In this example that I took, they were only able to put teeth white in New York because we try to respect a size that is between 50 and 60 characters, because otherwise we will crop it. That's why sometimes you see 3 points after the title. So just for the record, the title is the blue text that we can see here. And basically, you want to use the main keyword at the beginning of the title. In services, it's very common you put the service in the beginning and then just slash or bar, and you put the company name, as exactly like they did in this example. So then the URL. The URL is also a factor. It's a small factor, but it's still good to optimize it. So basically, we want to use the main keyword in the URL. Like in the example, we can see here your domain name.com/teeth whitening New York. We want to keep it short and concise. We don't want to put 150 keywords / and have 150 characters. We want to keep it clean, to keep it short. But yes, if we can, we try to put the main keyword on it. Especially if you are doing something that is localized to a country or to a city, you want to add the city or the country at the end. Just other 3 things. Don't use non-ASCII characters, so basically accent or that kind of things. Or for example, for French, the French C, or in Spanish that we have accents, we don't put it on the URLs. Then to separate keywords or words, we need to use hyphens, and then do not use capitals, because if you have one URL with a capital and without the capital, there are still 2 URLs for Google. So always without capitals. So meta description. Meta description, as we can see on the image, is the gray text that we see below the title, below the blue text in search engine. Usually, because Google, for example, they choose if they consider that your meta description is relevant or not for a query, and they might change it. But basically, let's say it's a 150 character text that search engine display below the title. So in the meta description, there's 4 things we want to do. The first is try to use the main and secondary keyword, because as we can see on the example, they might put it in bold. The second is to stay, let's say, below 155, 160 characters. Then use a strong language. Why? Because the goal of the description is to increase the clicks. So if you have a very appealing description, that will play a role in more people will click in your let's say in your listing, and that's going to increase your organic traffic as well. And finally, a good practice is also add a call to action like visit our page or call us or reach out to us. That's very common as well. So the other point on on-page optimization is image optimization. And here we have 3 different points. So the first of all of them is the alt text, probably you have heard about. So alt text is a short term for alternative text, and basically is a text that describes an image. But what do we want to do from an SEO perspective, besides of describing the image, we want to put our keyword there. So for example, if we would have our teeth whitening page, and we put a photo of our clinic, we could put something like dental clinic in New York specialized in teeth whitening, or dental clinic specialized in teeth whitening in New York, even better, because we will have the keyword at the end. Other thing that we want to do is we want to add the main keyword in the name of the file. So instead of have a file image and call it, I don't know, image 123, we want to call it teeth whitening in New York before after, for example, if it's an image of someone showing the mouth before and after the treatment. And then the third point, and this is more related to performance, is that we want to use WebP formats instead of JPEG or PNG. So basically, when WebP is a format that is lighter, and it will help our page to load faster. Then we have the headings. And basically the headings, they help us to give some sort of architecture to our page. To give an example of how it would work, let's say that we make an article about foods of the world. Yes. So the main heading, the heading 1, that we need to have only one per page in most of cases, it could be foods of the world. But then we will have different heading 2, and the heading 2 would be, for example, food of Asia, or Asian foods, then food of South America, food of Europe, or European food. And then we will want to add inside of each section heading 3, because we want to say, okay, food of Argentina or food of Brazil, and then maybe heading 4, talking about each specific dish. So it helps Google, it helps user to understand the architecture of our page. It can be a page, a blog post, no matter. But basically, it gives a structure to our content. And what we want to do, of course, is we want to add our main keyword in the heading 1, and we want to add the secondary keywords to our heading 2 or 3 or 4. So what is our main keyword and our secondary keywords? Basically, when you will make a keyword research, you will see you will have one keyword that is the stronger and the one that has more research. For example, if we put dental clinic in New York, maybe it has 1.5 queries per month in Google. And if we look for dentist in New York, maybe they have 800. So in our heading 1, we're going to put dental clinic in New York, or the award-winning dental clinic in New York, for example. And in our heading 2, we can put the best dentist in New York, just to give you an example. Then a subject that is a bit more complicated is semantic SEO. So to understand semantic SEO, we need to go a bit back on time to the 90s. And when people start doing SEO, they realize that if they used many times a word, then Google would rank them higher. So if you could make an article about teeth whitening, you could put teeth whitening 50 times. If you remember, like 10 or 15 years ago, you would read an article and you would see so many times the same keyword was like very annoying. So Google realized of this, of course, and also improved their systems and algorithms, and start taking different factors into account. And what SEO people do is they start using synonyms. So they were playing from dental clinic New York to dentist New York or dentist NA, and play with that a little bit. But Google, of course, keep updating and keep becoming smarter and smarter. And the truth is that today we don't know exactly which kind of formula they use. But what I like to use for this part, because we cannot forget about semantic SEO, is a formula that is called TF-IDF. So I'm not going to get into the formula itself, but basically what the formula does is that they tell us, if you talk about this, in some certain way, we expect you to talk about this. So if we talk, for example, about football, we can expect that we're going to talk about ball, stadium, players. We are going to use that words alone. So the way we can use this is that there are many tools online that are free or freemium, and basically it allows you to put, for example, one keyword. So we put football, and the tool is going to see who's ranking on the top 10 on Google. They are going to analyze the content, and they are going to tell us which kind of words they are using. And we can even, once that we use it to make our content, we can submit our URL, and we are going to see on the graph how many times we are using these words comparing to the others. And if they are doing it in the top 10, we can suppose that if we use those words, then it's still good for us. Is it clear, Mati? You have any question?
Yes. No, I just want to be mindful of the time because we only have 9 minutes left. So I was thinking maybe we can already jump into the next section. I think I personally find it super relevant, like the step-by-step one.
Sure.
What do you think?
Yes, I just do very fast these ones, and we're good. So schema markup and structured data, basically, it's a way to add specific information for Google and other search engines, of course. And basically what we do, we will generate a code that they would understand, and they would help by giving some extra information. Then about internal linking, something we want to do, and this is very important as well, we want to give authority to our pages. Yes, if we don't put the pages in the footer, we don't put the pages we created in the menu or in the header, and we don't put it in our homepage, Google will maybe not find them, or they're not going to think that it's not important. So what we want to do, we want to give authority to our pages by putting them in the footer, in the homepage, and in the menu, in the header. This is very important as well. So let's skip then to section 5. So this is your strategy step by step. So the point number 1 is to make sure that you have a good technical setup. So I noticed just the main things to do. Of course, there are many others that we can do, but they are more complicated and they are maybe not so relevant for everyone. But let's say the first you want to do is you want to make sure your website is indexable. Especially when we do website in WordPress, many developers, what they do is they hide the website for search engine because they are working on it. And they might forget to take it out later. So you want to make sure that Google can find your website. It's so easy as Googling your name, and you should find yourself there, except if you're in a very competitive, your name is in a very competitive scope, let's say. Then you want to make sure that you are using HTTPS protocol. This is very important as well, because it's a ranking factor. And finally, you want to have a good loading speed. So this is very complicated if you are not using WordPress. If you're developing by yourself, of course, you need to minify the code. It's harder to do, but in WordPress, the advantage we have is that there are many plugins that are allowed to do this very easy. For example, SEO Optimizer if you're hosting SiteGround, or BP Rocket if you want to pay. I think it's 100 euros per month, and it's per year, and it's a very good tool that you can just basically check some options, and they will do all the tasks for you. Then create your web structure. This we already talked about it. So basically, you make your competitor analysis, your keyword search, your keyword mapping, and of course, then you create the pages of the keyword mapping. Then you go to the on-page optimization. So title, URL, meta description, image optimization, headings, semantic SEO, structured data, that was schema markup we were talking about. And finally, you make sure that you make a good internal link. And something to mention about this, in the beginning, if you have a few pages, it's easy to do because you have 10 pages, you can put them all in the homepage, it's okay. When you start having a big website, it starts getting a bit complicated because you need to know basically where are you giving the power to. SEO in some way, you need to see it like, let's say you have your homepage get backlinks, yes? So get authority. And when you are putting pages in the homepage or you are putting them in the header or in the footer, you are giving them authority. So when your website becomes very big, you need to know exactly what you are doing to see how you are passing that authority. For example, if tomorrow myself, I would delete the service pages from PeerLab, from the homepage of PeerLab, I could expect that they are going to drop. And if I have a page that I have it on the footer and I put it in the homepage, I could expect that it's going to grow because I'm giving authority. And finally, let's talk about SEO of page. I'm going just to make a short introduction because we could make 10 videos about SEO of page. But basically, there are 3 things that are important. So the first of all is get high quality backlinks. This I'm going to show what is backlinking, and I'm going to explain which kind of backlinks you can get and the different ways. Then you can make some submissions on directories, for example, in Clutch, for agencies, or Sortlist. Even if they don't give a do follow link, it's very good for your authority. And finally, develop your social media presence. So this is not something that an SEO is going to do, but it's something that is helping SEO. Of course, for this, you need to hire probably a digital marketing agency or having someone in-house that is doing this task. So to get to backlinking, the last slide, let's say that in backlinking, we have what we call black hat and what we call white hat. And in the middle, the gray hat. So white hat is all the practices that are, let's say, good seen by Google. Yes, what Google suggests. The black hat is what is forbidden by Google, and the gray hat is what is in the middle, let's say. So the black hat techniques just to mention a few ones for you to understand what we are talking about, is when we go to some website like Fiverr and we buy for 10 euros, 200 backlinks. This is for sure black hat. Then when, for example, some people do hack websites and they put backlinks pointing to a website to pass authority, this is also, of course, black hat. In the gray hat, there are different systems, but for example, PBNs, some people just decide to create 50 websites, and the 50 websites are going to point with their backlinks to the page that you want to rank. This is also gray black hat, because of course it's not allowed by Google. And also buying high quality backlinks, for example, could be considered gray hat because it's against Google guidelines. Also link exchange, for example, if I have a friend that has a website and I tell him, make me a backlink, I'm going to make one for you. This is also not allowed for Google. Or another random activity that we can do, we can go to forums and start making comments in random forums, sending backlinks to our page. This is also gray hat, because those things are not allowed by Google. The thing is, why gray? Because they are not so risky, and you more or less you can do it. For example, buying high quality backlinks is something that we still can do, because Google is never going to realize, and if the media or the page that is giving you a backlink has good authority and is a clean website with real content that real users and people really go to read them, then we consider it more or less white hat, even if we are against the guidelines of Google. And then in the white hat system, we can mention, for example, digital PR. So we reach out to journalists, we maybe answer some questions for them, and they give us a backlink, they feature us in the media. Ask, for example, many times we see that someone made an article about a brand, but they don't give the backlink, so you can always reach out, send an email, and ask for the backlink. Also, when you create good content, you have what we call organic backlinks, because someone they really want to give a backlink, and they share the content with the readers. That's what we call organic backlink. So there are many ways to do white hat. Although, yes, so sometimes it's also convenient to buy backlinks depending on what you want. So Matt, it's okay if we go to the questions?
Yeah, I haven't seen any questions. So if there's somebody with a question, please drop in the chat box. And if not, Hannah, maybe you can tell people how they can get in touch with you and yeah, contact you. And yeah, I think we could sum it up.
Perfect, Mati. Yes, so basically to reach out to us, you can, I'm just going to close this. So to reach out to us, you can use the contact form in PR Lab, or just email me at genaro@prlab.co.
Yeah, perfect. And I want to thank you for the ones that are still here for joining, and for the ones that are watching the recording, please add us on LinkedIn, Genaro Palma, Matias Roxvich. Let's talk about your SEO needs, and if you need tips or help or anything, you can always reach out to Genaro. He's more than happy to help. And I hope it wasn't too technical. We tried to keep it short and sweet. And if you want to receive the slides as well, we're happy to send them to you via email. So thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.